Why are managers and leaders in tech companies really struggling right now? You may be a manager watching this, or somebody that reports into a manager, or somebody that runs a tech business. You may have found that they're increasingly stressed, overwhelmed, struggling with the work that they're doing, finding it really difficult. And the research really backs that up. If you look at the Gallup most recent engagement report, that shows that actually since 2022, it's the manager demographic that's dropped the most, 9 points since 2022. That's now suggesting that only 1 in every 5 managers is actually engaged at their job. And I suspect that if you just filtered on tech companies in that report, you'd find that that number is much, much lower. They're finding it really difficult at the moment. I want to explore why I think that is and why it's, I think, harder in tech than in other industries right now. So let's start with their primary role. Primary role of a manager here is to lead their team. Now, hopefully, most managers, their only function is to lead their team. But a lot of managers and a lot of tech companies have a responsibility to do delivery in their function as well. But they've got these people reporting into them, let's say 8 people, 10 people, something like that. Now, one of the first issues that we need to be aware of here is this gap between the people in their team. And I don't mean physical proximity. I'm talking about the relationship gap between the people that report into that manager. That gap, I think, is wider than it's ever been, and it's only getting wider. People are spending less time face-to-face together, and when they are face-to-face together in a team, that's often at a team meeting or an all-hands. And often in tech companies, what I'm seeing happen is those periods of time are being spent broadcasting content at people. So they're spending very little time now face-to-face with each other, forming that trusted connection with their colleagues and teammates. What that leads to is that if this person here has a problem and they need to talk to somebody, and the person they know the best is the manager, they take that problem to their manager. If this person has an idea, something they're quite excited about, something they want to go and explore, and the only person they know is their manager, that's where that goes. If this person wants to know how to do something, isn't sure where to look, only person they know is their manager. You get the picture. All of this generates a huge amount of noise to the manager. So the wider the gap between these people, the more noise that goes to the manager. Most managers I know, they're lovely, well-intentioned, really good people that want to do the best for their team. So what they do is they lose any sense of boundary. They've got technology like Teams and Slack and WhatsApp and other ways that they can communicate asynchronously all the time with their people. So these people will message and email and contact out of hours, early in the morning, late in the evening, over weekends. And the manager will want to do their best to say, I'm here, I'm supporting you, I'm looking after you. So they will respond, which causes an almighty amount of noise for this manager. So the first thing that's causing a huge amount of stress and overwhelming these managers in tech is the teams that they lead and the increasing gap and space between these people in their teams. That's not the only thing that they do, though. If you have a customer-facing role as a manager, if you lead a team in a customer-facing unit, then customers will want a piece of you as well. Customers will expect an executive relationship. Customers will expect their escalation to be handled by senior people across the business. So they will want their time with you as well. And they'll be asking for meetings, emails, contact, etc. Equally, if you're in a role that interacts with partners or suppliers, exactly the same thing. Again, escalations or problems or opportunities, strategy. They will want a piece of that manager time as well. And lastly, of course, they work for a company. These leaders work for a company, and these companies, particularly in tech right now, are changing a lot. Gone are the days where there is a 3 or a 5-year strategy. That does not exist in any tech company I work with right now. We barely have a 1-year strategy. This is across all of the technology industry from what I see. And there's a whole load of reasons, valid reasons why that's the case. Geopolitical stuff impacting supply chain, or maybe there's a change in the technology that underpins the service they provide or what they sell to their customers. And when those changes happen, that means the company might need to pivot and change what they're doing. Disruption with different competitors coming out of nowhere, customer demands changing, means that there's constant pivoting, changing, new initiatives, new programs coming from the company. And the only way that they can land those successfully across the business is via their most important lever, which is the manager community. So all of this is a constant stream of noise and priorities, and this is urgent, and we need to get on top of this, all of which goes to their manager, who has to then think, how do I get this across all of my teams? Now, if you look at this, this is a hugely noisy picture, and the context switching is brutal. Imagine moving from a conversation with this person where they've got a problem and you need to help them think it through, quite a tactical, deep thing, to then an escalation with a senior customer and a senior stakeholder that really has to go well, to a supplier and their chief exec coming over and wants to meet senior people that they work with, and you need to kind of wow them and get them on board in that kind of relationship at the same time as a new company priority lands. That is very different context you need to switch to, and that can just be in a day for the average manager in a tech business. If you then add in that their days are already swamped, in the average tech company right now, you're subjected to about 275 interruptions a day, and I think that is conservative. That means 1 every 2 minutes. If you are focused on a deep piece of work, if a manager's reading a report or something like that, and you get a notification and you just glance at it, it can take you up to 13 minutes to recapture the depth of attention you had on that task. And you're subjected to an interruption at least every 2 minutes. You're also spending a huge amount of time in meetings. These people are at least 60% of their week in meetings, which means they're trying to cram their actual work into 40% of their free time in an environment where they're already massively under stressed and exhausted as well. And this is why I think, particularly in tech right now, the managers and the leaders are having the most difficult time.